Hey, good morning, church family. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're planning on having a great day at work or wherever you got going. And I hope you honor the Lord with your day. So as we start today's devotion, we're going to be in the book of John once again. And John chapter 9, Jesus is about to perform a miracle. He says in verse number 1, actually, it says the disciples were talking to him in the beginning of chapter 9, verse 1. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. And then look with me at verse number 6. And when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with clay, and said unto him, Go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore, and washed and came seeing. Such a pretty cool little story here, a true account of what happened to this blind man. This blind man had a reputation all around town as being blind from his birth, and the disciples see him, and the first thing they think about is who messed up. This is a horrible thing that's happened to this man. He's blind. It's so sad that he's blind. This is just so unfortunate. It must be because something was done. Somebody sinned. Somebody did something they shouldn't have done, and that's why this horrible thing has happened. They were kind of basing it on the logic of good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people. But Jesus has to correct them, and he says, no, that's not exactly what's going on. This man was born blind. He was blind from his birth just so I could come here and do this miracle, that I could do the works of him that sent me. He's saying, I'm here to come and do a great work in this man's life for this town, for everyone to see, and I'm doing it to please my Father, to give him glory. And it's really interesting. You see, God wants to do something amazing in all of our lives. He really does. And we look at the things that happen in our lives, and honestly, a lot of the problems in our life we do bring on ourselves, but some things happen that we have no idea where it came from. We have no idea why this is happening in our life. And the truth is, God wants to take whatever is happening in our life, whether we brought it on ourselves or something that He allowed to happen to us. He wants to take it and do something amazing with it to bring Himself honor and glory and make His name known. And that's what He's going to do in this moment. Now, it's a little interesting. If you read it, he says that Jesus walked up, made some clay with his spittle, with his saliva, and anointed the guy's eyes. If someone did that to me, I'm blind, obviously. If I was blind and someone walked up and just anointed my eyes with some wet clay substance, that would be a little weird, a little bit odd. And then Jesus talks to him and says, Go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam. But I find it interesting that the man believed him. The man just took him at his word and said, okay, and went and washed himself in the pool of Siloam. He could have been like, what are you talking about? This is weird. The Bible doesn't give us any more insight on the dialogue that happened right there, but the man responded. See, when God wants to do something amazing in your life, it's required of us that we trust and obey. We sing that song here at church, trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. See, when God works in your life, He wants you to trust Him and He wants you to respond in obedience. What if we just trusted or no obedience? Or what if we obeyed but we really didn't trust the Lord? The work wouldn't be the same. If this man said, oh great, yeah, that'll bring me back my eyesight, but he never went to the pool, it wouldn't have worked. And what if he said, all right, I'll go to the pool, but there's no way this will work? God wouldn't have blessed that. God desires for us to be obedient and delight in obeying with what He's given us to do, because He wants to do an amazing work in our life. But not only does He want to do an amazing work, and not only does it require trust and obedience on our part, but sometimes when God does do something amazing in our life, not everybody's in favor of it. Right after this happened, really the bulk of this chapter, right after all this happened, the Pharisees and the religious people, that crowd, they're examining Him and looking at Him like, isn't this the guy who's been blind forever? He was probably faking it. Okay, maybe he wasn't faking it. Who did this to him? He anointed his eyes on the Sabbath. That's hard work. That should never be done. And they were so caught up on all these peripheral things that they missed the glory of what God had done for this man. But he knew. His parents knew what God had done for him. And if you look at the very end of the chapter, it says, in verse number 35, Jesus heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, Dost thou believe on the Son of God? The blind man he answered in verse 36, he answered and said, Who is he, the Lord, that I may believe on him? Jesus said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and it is he that talketh with thee. And then verse 38, he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him. This man knew what God had done for him and how He had dramatically changed his life. He knew that, and he believed and worshipped Him. That should be our response whenever we see God do something amazing in our life. So what's the application here? God wants to do something big in your life. He wants to take horrible things, tragedies, unfortunate events, anything in our life. He wants to take it and do something awesome. Not because you deserve something awesome in your life, but because He is glorious and He deserves honor and recognition, and He wants to lift Himself up through the events in your life. So when God responds and He does something with your life, trust and obey. I hope that's a help to you as you face life and different things going on with everything around us. I hope that God uses this and He does something amazing in your life, and people see that and people respond to who He is, and they want to get to know Him, and they want to experience what He's done for you. They want to experience it for themselves. Hope that's a blessing to you. Have a great day, church family.